Hello. How's everybody doing? I'm going to have to be kind of quiet because I'm in a hotel room in Southern California right now, and I was supposed to be off today. If I sound like Clerks, I meant to. But I can't pass this up. Now, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to make a video about this, but I would normally. It'll probably be part of a Star Wars video I've been making, and I plan to release on Tuesday. I've been kind of focusing on my Witcher review. I kind of thought the Star Wars discussion was kind of done. That's kind of what my video is going to be about as far as plot is concerned. But this, I can't pass up. This is ridiculous. And I just want to point out how rich it is that the billion-dollar Washington Post, and the only reason it's worth $1 billion is because Jeff Bezos is worth billions of dollars. A guy I have supported, a guy I helped save The Expanse. I played my part. I was the first one to report that it had been canceled. I went live the minute it got canceled, and it got the ball rolling. I've never patted myself on the back too much for that, but I was definitely part of helping save that show. And that's when my channel was not as, didn't have as many subscribers as it does now, and didn't have the reach it does now. But when I see something like this, it makes me rethink my support for Amazon, for Jeff Bezos, and for The Expanse, especially, again, when it's a $1 billion guy who paid a journalist who was tasked by an editor who was paid to go after individuals. And some of these individuals are small businesses like yours truly. I don't always talk about Star Wars. I talk about The Expanse. I talk about Star Trek. I talk about Doctor Who. I talk about The Witcher. I talked about Mr. Robot. Go through my 900 plus videos. Half of them are just covering television. Now, they don't mention anybody by name. They certainly mention Stephen Walton's book, so that's awesome that got, or his book series that's got a little play, so good for him. And they mention Jeff's comic book, again, not by name. Now, this author says she's done some research. Bethany, I went over the article where she did her research, and it was just on Twitter. So Twitter is not research, okay? Twitter is not the real world. Twitter is a very tiny percentage of this planet, and it's not a very good way to gauge interest in a TV show, interest in a movie, politics, or anything. DC Comics used to listen to Twitter quite a bit, and that's why they're in the kerfuffle they're in. I might do that video someday. That was about a few years ago. I used to be on Twitter a lot in 2008 when it started. Got into a lot of trouble because I was pretty much calling out any comic creator at the time who was late, but spending too much time on Twitter, Gail Simone. And it got me in a little trouble. So I left Twitter for a good long time, came back for this channel. I hate Twitter. I think it's mostly trash, and it's filled with anonymous keyboard warriors. And you know what? You really can't count somebody who's anonymous who won't attach a name to their account as anything. It's a fart in the wind. So let's get to this. And again, I don't apologize for monetizing my videos. I don't ask for super chats, but I'm grateful for them. And I'm grateful that I am privileged enough because I worked my ass off to do this channel full time. It's not going to last forever. Nothing does. But I'm very proud of that. But again, a multi-billion-dollar corporation calling out individuals for making money. It's not a good look. It's not very self-aware, especially when this article generated money, and it's painting a false narrative, as we expect from the partisan outlet that is the Washington Post. Now, I can say with some certainty that I would say more than half of the Fandom Menace is not right-wing, including yours truly. I don't talk about my politics here, but my politics are simply this. I'm an individual who goes by the issue. I don't let some group of people fill out my political scorecard for me before I roll out of the rack in the morning. I don't let other people decide the issues for me. I actually read my voting book. You know what's funny? I am not even allowed to vote. So considering my past, I am an ex-felon. That was many, many years ago. And I do not have voting rights. So I do anyway. For some reason, they let me go in there and fill up my voting card, and they probably count it, but they're not supposed to. They're not supposed to. All right. So the latest Star Wars film satisfies the right wing. Will the left start trolling? No, the access media is trolling. The mainstream media is trolling. Don't expect a new Fandom Menace to emerge this time around. No, because we already have one, and it's filled with people from the left. Utterly filled. And it's got a bunch of YouTubers who are on the left. I won't out anybody, but you would be surprised. You would be surprised. Also, I'm obviously not home. If I mentioned that, I am in Southern California. I was going to take 3 days off. We have a MLK weekend. Logan's not going to be in school. Logan is Nerdrotic Jr. And I wanted to take some time to visit my dear mother, and cross your fingers, I'm doing something pretty awesome on Monday, which I will live stream when I'm done. Hopefully, it'll be fun. If it happens, it happens. It might not. It might. We don't know. Nothing is ever for sure in this world. But it's got something to do with Gelogia. We'll just say Gelogia. Star Wars Episode 9, The Fall of Skywalker, leaves theaters soon. Thankfully, critical reception was middling. Box office receipts collapsed, ending. Hey, I agree with that. And ending below those of The Last Jedi Episode 8, released 2017, and Rogue One, a 2016 standalone film. But right-wing trolling of the film was a mild comparison to the backlash against The Last Jedi. The latest movie avoided the ire by moving Star Wars politically right. What? Moving Star Wars politically right. For one, right-wing people are welcome at my channel. You are not the devil. Just because you think differently on a few issues, I don't see you as a racist or a Yahtzee. I see you as a human being. My dear sweet mother, who I'm going to visit, is a Republican. And yeah, so it's not right-wing anger. It's anger. It's disappointment more than anger in a franchise that did pick a side. So just because the franchise picked a side and we are calling it out, it doesn't make us right-wing. I know very simplistic people want to see that, but if you actually did your research, Bethany, you would understand. Okay, I use I statements here. Do the math for me. I live in San Francisco. My wife owns a hair salon in San Francisco. Do the math. Right-wing anger. Right-wing anger. Oh, we're so angry. So has Lucasfilm replaced its right-wing troll problem with a left-wing one? Probably not. Compared to previous film, The Rise of Skywalker slighted fans with less visibility in fandom media and fewer ways to monetize their criticisms. That is my favorite argument of them all. So you're not getting paid for writing this. People get paid to criticize movies. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with making a little cheddar, entertaining people. I'm sure it's jealousy. It's also, this is the dinosaur legacy media. It's the 20th century media. And the 20th century was 20 years ago. So I almost said sweetheart, but that might get me in trouble. But listen, sweetie, I'm going to mansplain you here. We can make money doing stuff. It's fine. Just like it's fine that you make money writing this article. I'm just pointing it out. I don't give a shit that you do. And I don't give a shit that Jeff Bezos could probably feed a few starving countries in Africa, but chooses not to. He chooses to spend $500 million on a fantasy series that I like a lot, but is that responsible in the big picture, in the grand scheme of things? The amount of money they wasted on Jar Jar Abrams reshoots could have built multiple houses for kids who need them in El Salvador, kind of like what Geeks and Gamers is doing right now. They're helping. They have a GoFundMe right now. I will share it in a little bit. That's helping get a house built for some kids in El Salvador, and that is what Drunk 3PO does. But of course, we're doing that to distract from our bad behavior. Again, criticism isn't bad behavior. Well, it might be in this very, very soft society that we're in. And, you know, I don't assume, and I'm glad everybody has not had a life as hard as mine. And I got to keep that in mind. You know, I try not to project my ideals on other people, but that is a lost art these days, a lost art. Anger at the Last Jedi became a business. Popular anti-TLJ videos on YouTube have millions of hits. Why do they have millions of hits? Why are they popular? If this was a bad thing, it wouldn't be popular. People wouldn't go there. It's the same argument you use for the success of The Rise of Skywalker, which it didn't make $2 billion though. What it was supposed to make. It was supposed to make $2 billion. Tens of thousands of dollars of their creators. Sorry, let me go back on that one. Anger at The Last Jedi became a business. Popular anti-TLJ videos on YouTube have millions of hits, translating to tens of thousands of dollars for their creators. Right-wing personalities sell Fandom Menace apparel. Entrepreneurs raised $50,000 in seed money for an anti-TLJ comic book. What is it? The anti? Yeah, maybe, but good. You know what? It's a free society. We can do that. And good for Jeff. That's World Class Bullshitters comic book. Had a bit of a problem with that comic book. I think he's working it out. I hope so. And almost $10,000 for a multi-volume history of the Fandom Menace. Good for Stephen Walton. Props to Stephen Walton. Finally getting the credit he deserves. Who is the film for? That's a good question. I ask that pretty much of everything. Who is Star Trek Picard for? Who is Doctor Who for? I don't know who that's for anymore. Many observers see The Rise of Skywalker as an apology to TLJ haters. Of the 53 The Rise of Skywalker reviews by top critics archived on Rotten Tomatoes as of January 15th, 44 described the movie as a reversal intended to win over the fans that dislike the TLJ. So you are using the access media as the basis of a narrative. So you're using a false narrative as a basis of your narrative. The Rise of Skywalker wasn't an apology to TLJ fans. If that was the case, Luke Skywalker would be alive. It cemented everything from the TLJ. It might have hoisted a middle finger at Rian Johnson. That was a personal issue between Jar Jar Abrams and Rian Johnson. That was not fan service. That film was not fan service. It was awful. And it still had some of those same messages and themes that they had in The Last Jedi. They just went by so fast that it didn't resonate. That's all. The Fall of Skywalker invites the perception that it is made with conservative white and male audiences in mind. Wow. This person has a job at the Washington Post. I don't think that's the case. After suggesting that there would be a same-sex relationship in The Fall of Skywalker, filmmakers included two women kissing in the background of a scene, a moment easily censored for overseas markets. Okay. What has that got to do with the previous statement? The Fall of Skywalker nearly eliminates the character of Rose Tico. Well, it's because it was a bad character. played by Asian American actress Kelly Marie Tran, Vietnamese American actress Kelly Marie Tran, I do believe. And to show the racism of Disney, they just think that, well, if we put an Asian in there, the whole Asian market's going to like it. World doesn't work like that, I'm sorry to say. My son, my oldest son, is part Vietnamese, and it's just not the case. Okay. Who was the focal point for right-wing hate after the large role of The Last Jedi? Again, I didn't hate the character. It was annoying. The messaging and the themes that Rian Johnson put in there had nothing to do with her character. She was just in the scene. But again, we had a multi-billion-dollar corporation trying to put an anti-capitalist message in a film that personifies capitalism, personifies it. One critic illustrated all this with a list of the rise of the fall of Skywalker moments that undermine the TLJ commitment to diversity. For example, the fall of Skywalker explains that a certain feats by women in The Last Jedi were only possible because they got help from men or sheer luck. You see, so you know where they extrapolated that from is Rey is the granddaughter of Palpatine. That means she got help from men. Unfortunately, all women get help from men when they're born. I'm sorry. Take that up with the creator. Despite all of this, a left-wing trolling campaign against the fall of Skywalker is unlikely. Fandom politics and the nature of the internet media will probably curb the the fall of Skywalker backlash. Has it? This is what you call mental gymnastics, folks. And this is extraordinary. I never thought I would see this. I mean, I did see one. I didn't read the whole article, but I saw somebody try to mention maybe they were trolling that Comicsgate was a feminist thing. I have to read that one because that one might be worse. But this is this is pretty funny. The smaller fandom platform. The most visible Star Wars fan media is made by white men. For example, until 2018, the Star Wars website included links to fan podcasts, which I collected for past research. 38 of the 56 shows had male hosts. Only one had a person of color as a host. That comic book you were talking about, the anti-Last Jedi, sorry, this chair is really uncomfortable. The anti-Last Jedi comic book was created by a non-white man. I'm very sorry to tell you, Bethany. I think she's going off his voice, or maybe she didn't watch the video, or maybe she didn't do her research. Probably. Some of these fan media outlets supported the Last Jedi backlash. For example, Rebel Force Radio, one of the oldest outlets, pivoted to cater a right-wing audience. Okay. Before I go on, Bethany. We want partisan politics out of Star Wars, of any kind. If Star Wars went hard right, I would be making videos as well. Would they be as popular? I have no idea, but I'd be making videos. Be the same videos. I don't want to see it in certain things. In other things, if you have political messaging and it's done through allegory and it's an organic part of the story, certainly. And you know what? It might have even worked in Star Wars. The problem is there wasn't any talent behind the film. And if there's no talent, then you're not going to get that messaging across. It's just going to look like preaching. And that's what it was. Fans who feel slighted by the fall of Skywalker's politics will not have a comparable platform. Female, non-white, and LGBTQ fans control fewer fan outlets. Hang on. I have to read that again. Fans who feel slighted by the fall of Skywalker's politics will not have comparable platform. Female, non-white, and LGBTQ fans control fewer fan outlets. Do you know who controls Hollywood? LGBTQ. That's who controls Hollywood. They have a big ass outlet. That's fine. They can have it. That's cool. We love musical and theater, or some people do. I'm not a huge fan of it, but you know what? It brought us the arts, and I love the arts. There are, yeah. Okay, we're gonna get to you before I get through this. Hi, Rosetta. How you doing? I see Rosetta. Hey, Rosetta, did you know you made? I'm sure you do that Medium article yesterday, Rosetta. You were in there. One of your tweets was promptly. I wasn't. You know what? Again, I was not going to live stream from my hotel room. I don't feel too bad about being loud because a bunch of drunk people just came in and they were noisy as hell. And good for them. I am currently, you know where I am right now? I am 4 miles away from where I bought my very first comic book. That's where I am. There's a 7-Eleven in San Marcos right over there where I bought Marvel Team Up 42, Amazing Spider-Man and Vision. And that launched my nerd journey. 1975, I believe that was. 1975. Hang on, I'm trying to kill time so I can get over here because I was not prepared for this. So please forgive me. Oh, yeah, that's right. You got to go to this other thing now. Okay, never mind. Hang on. I can do this. Sorry, the air conditioning's going on too. And there we are, and we can get to you guys. Oh, and it's demonetized. They demonetized because I put googly eyes on Jeff Bezos. I want you to know that anytime you put googly eyes on a CEO in a thumbnail, you will get demonetized. Susan Wojcicki probably, has dinner with him every night or something like that. I don't know. I got to blow this up a little bit because I'm blind as hell. Okay, we will start out with some nobody. Bring it, Bezos. You ain't loaded enough for this fight. Yeah. Fuck you, dude. I helped save your show. And I know you don't write for this paper, but for one, him buying this paper kept it alive. Maybe it just needs to die. Again, you're going after individual fans. So this is giant corporations being mobilized that have nothing to do with Disney, by the way, going after fans. And what you risk doing every single fucking time is offending people you didn't intend to. And you end up offending a bunch of them. And a bunch of them tend to have grudges for life. Now, I'm a reasonable guy. I am. But I really don't feel like backing The Expanse now. I really don't. And you know what? I'm not mentioned in the article, but I'm sure I was part of it. I don't care, though. And what you're offending is these fine people in the chat, because that's included in the Fandom Menace. It's actually YouTubers are just the mouthpiece. The real Fandom Menace is right there in the chat. Striderman, what's up, man? Welcome to the Geloja level. I appreciate it. Roy McClurg for $9.99. Twitter is crap. Keep up the fight for sanity. I will. I will walk away from Twitter at some point. I mean, it's awesome that I have 14,000 followers now, but it's time suck. I don't find any advantage in it whatsoever. And it's getting harder and harder to find the things I want to find on when I have to sift through you're trash and you're misogynist. As a matter of fact, I was just going to get on. I got on a live stream with Echo Base Network when I was in the car at a gas station. And I was in the guest thing for StreamYard. So I had to add a thumbnail to it. So I was just looking for a Nerdrotic picture. So I Googled Nerdrotic, which I never do. And this is why. And the first thing that pops up is this Reddit thread, this huge Reddit thread that says, How misogynist and racist is Nerdrotic and Trek? Not like, are they? It's how much? What you going to do? And you know what? It's meaningless. It means dick to me because that gets thrown out so much. And, I don't know who it gets thrown out by. These could be teachers. These could be 12-year-old kids. I don't know, and I don't care. Again, you're a fart in the wind if you're anonymous to me. Now, YouTubers, some of them need to be anonymous because some of us, when we take on this fight, especially like Anna, the women especially, get death threats, crazy threats. I generally don't. Well, I don't see them because I don't look for them, but I just don't see them. So I generally don't get this stuff very much. So it's fine. But we're talking about a movie. We're talking about just wanting to enjoy our escapism again. That's it. Hollywood can just go off and die. Like I've said, scripted material might be something that becomes something of the past. Like I can see in the future, people going, man, people used to like make up stories and then act them out. How silly. And if you think about it, it is, but we like it and I like it. But when you pull back the curtain and you see Hollywood, you see how they act. And if they were pious people, I would listen to them more, but we know these are largely, especially, the authors, especially journalists these days, we know that they don't get paid very well. So they can't really do that much research. It's not like the old days when there was real journalists and they would do real research. Now they were still biased, but now everything is so watered down. Nobody's getting paid very much. There's so many media outlets. They're all fighting. And somebody mentioned it. Mainstream media is now clickbait. Is now fucking clickbait. Rosetta Allen for $5. Thank you for being on. Was stuck awake and now. Oh, thank you for being on. I was stuck awake and now I have a friendly voice at night. You are amazing. Mad respect, dear Gary. Mad respect to you, Rosetta. Thank you very much. Robert Meza for $2. Screw the socialists and the SJWs. I'm not a big fan of socialism. It doesn't make me right wing. Doesn't make me right wing at all. I like the capitalism. I don't like the big corporatism that's out there. I like small businesses. I like real capitalism. I think it's fun. And it's funny that this gets brought up about Amazon. Amazon in 2011 ran a coupon where if you went into a retail store with your barcode and you scanned the barcode, they would match the price. So they were encouraging people to go into retail outlets and scan their inventory to basically to match the price. But what they were doing was gathering data on retail outlets. So they were using this coupon to gather data on retail outlets. Fuck Jeff Bezos. Fuck Amazon. And people were doing it in my store. And I had to tell people not to scan shit in my store because I don't want Amazon doesn't deserve my inventory information. I know it's being a little paranoid, but screw them. And that was 8 years ago. A lot of people have forgotten about that, but I found the article. I actually found the article. I'll show it to you later. A lot of pop-up ads on that son of a bitch, though. Svi Lebetkin, Mazel Tov, my friend, $4.99. Hey, Gary, are you doing a post Doctor Who stream this weekend? And can I ever come on? I'm normally on the TARDIS zone, but we start about an hour after you. I think I'm going to do one, but I'm not sure because I have to see my mom and I'm visiting my father-in-law for breakfast. Father-in-law just lost one of his brothers. He's not. It's Melissa's dad. His health is kind of so I'm here checking on the parents, making sure everybody's okay, basically. And I had a couple of days. So, you can come on. If I do it, sure. And we'll bring Starry on, and if Bolstrek wants to come on again, sure. Why not? Cracklin for $4.99. Thanks for what you do. Please don't let the strange Twitterers and emailers bother you. There are some weirdos out there. Yes. There are some people who need some help. It doesn't bother me. It's just it's me, Cracklin. When I get on Twitter, I get into it, and I just, it takes away from the platform that I'm more successful on. And a lot of times I'll like craft this big old tweet and I'm all, ooh, that should be in a video. And I delete it. As a matter of fact, I had one that's why I'm live right now. I'm like, I was going to put up another tweet. I'm all, fuck it, I'm going to go live. Screw it. Rosetta Allen for $5. I'm a centrist, anti-party, and most of my friends in the Fandom Menace are definitely to the left of me, and a little or a lot. These people are delusional. They are. I know for a fact a lot of content creators are left and center. I guess I'm center, but see, Rosetta, center is considered right wing now. Center is considered right wing. Okay. No politics in media on either side. The point. Exactly, Rosetta. And thank you for the additional $2. Stories can be political. I have no problem with that. You just have to, you can even be on one side, but if you come at it like an adult, if you come at it like, hey, we're looking at the other side, I happen to see things from this side, but you're not the devil for seeing things on the other side. That's the whole narrative. That if you voted for the president, you are automatically racist. I mean, I see tweet after tweet that says that if you voted for the president, you are automatically a racist. That is, here's the problem with that. Whatever side you're on, if one side does it, then the other side's going to do it. So if one side overreaches, then the other side's going to overreach. So if one side impeaches, then the other side's going to impeach every time somebody, and it's just never going to fucking end. When like there was an election, there's going to be another election, and then hopefully you get the results you get. But we're not going to get that. It's just going to get worse. And that's what I'm worried about. I don't care what side you're on. It's just once one side does it, the other side can now do it. And you can't, but they'll complain. And it's ridiculous. That's what I told my kid. One of the weirdest things growing up when I hit my 20s and I realized that adults were full of shit and it's just high school with higher stakes and mortgages. That's all it is. It sounds like a preemptive strike before the Lord of the Rings show drops. Bryce Brierly. Oh, what's up, Bryce? How's it going, man? For $10. It was nice meeting you at the meetup for the Fall of Skywalker. Yeah. I am going to do a video on the Lord of the Rings casting. I'm doing a little research on that though, because I'm not entirely sure. Listen, with the Lord of the Rings, real quick, if we thought you were going to get a Tolkien-esque cast, it's just not going to happen now. But it kind of worked with The Witcher. But again, I'm somebody who didn't play the video game and didn't read all the books. So it might not work for other people. But with the Lord of the Rings, it's supposed to be English mythology. That's what it's supposed to be. But you can mess with that. And again, I'm okay with if you mess with that, as long as you can mess with everything. I'm just about equality. Traveling had no idea was in the article. Need a link. Oh yeah, Rosetta. So there's a Medium article that we read on Friday Night Tights last night. I will send you the link. One of your tweets is in it. Oh yeah. Thanks for the live stream, Gary. The article is laughable, says Seahawk Scott. It is. And we're not even done. Thank you for the $5. Bryce Brierly for $10. Remonetize. Thanks, buddy. Thanks. And I'm definitely not monetized for this one. Susan, you are a effing coward. Stop trying to control us, says some nobody for $2. Susan needs to flex. I would love to support Susan. I am grateful again for being able to do this, and I'm grateful for what YouTube is. And if Susan would just let YouTube be YouTube, she is the most powerful CEO, a female CEO. She needs to act like it though. She needs to stop apologizing for her platform. But all she cares about is how she looks at these parties, and then she gets in front of these mobs and gets grilled for stuff she's not responsible for. This is an open platform. This is basically the town. This is the city streets. It's just a bunch of people talking. She's not responsible for that stuff. And people need to stop. She needs to stop apologizing. Advertisers are going to be running to YouTube because once the streaming wars really do their damage to broadcast television, because that's who they're doing the most damage to, advertisers are going to need some place to go. They can't go to Netflix. They can't go to Amazon Prime. They can't go to Disney Plus, but they can go here. And I'm guessing they'll be a little less picky. And honestly, most advertisers don't give a shit. Some nobody. Thank you again. Robert Meza for $5. The socialist is the enemy of freedom and liberty. Keep fighting. Yeah, anybody who, Jesus, this sure sucks. When you see kids burning like signs that say free speech, you got to blame their parents. I mean, the kid honestly doesn't know what he's doing. He's a complete idiot. And none of these kids have seen anything near strife. Maybe the worst thing they saw was the Great Recession, which frankly wasn't that bad. Go look up the Depression. The Great Recession was bad. Believe me, it affected me. I lost a lot of money and damn near lost my business. I had to work 2 jobs. Yeah, it was tough. And Melissa had to run 2 salons, but we did it. We just had to work twice as hard to make half as much. That's life. But it wasn't that bad. Believe me, things can get so much worse. Trust me. Chris L. Wolf, for Australian $2. Hope you're okay. I hope you're not near the fires. Gary, since they demonetized you, I'm giving you this. Why, thank you. I appreciate it. I hope you're doing okay down there. Hope everybody's doing okay down there in Australia. Cesario JPN, what's up? This is a preemptive strike to make sure we toxic fans don't get mad at Gandalf and the Tartan in Amazon Prime's upcoming Lord of the Rings series. It's coming. They're coming for Lord of the Rings. That's pretty much what my video is. They're coming for it. And now that Christopher Tolkien is gone, may he rest in peace. I'm glad he's not around to see it. And he's with his pops right now. Larry for $2. Nice surprise to see you. Echo-based film is great. It really is. I caught half of it. Doomcock did a fantastic job. He really should voice over. You know what? I'll talk Doomcock into doing that. He needs to make a website because a lot of voiceover guys, they used to make tapes, but you can do websites now where you give examples of your voiceover work and different things. He could totally do that. Make some extra cheddar. David Lammy for Australian $5. Commitment to diversity took precedence over commitment to good storytelling. This is why DT sucked so bad. David, yes. Storytelling has to come first. And Stephen King was talking about that. And I'm not here to say all things are equal with everybody because they're not. They're not. It sucks. It totally sucks. I wish I could do something about it, but I can't. But the best thing we can do moving forward is understand that life isn't fair and start from there. I don't have it. I've had it pretty bad in my life, but other people have had it worse. Some people have had it better. It sucks. I'm an alcoholic. I'd love to be able to casually drink, but I don't get to. And I get over it. I don't walk into a bar and expect it to shut down when I walk in. The world does not conform to you. Okay, you got to conform to it, and that's it. It's going to take something pretty gnarly to change this, though, and hopefully we are seeing the winds of change thanks to the great Dave Chappelle, thanks to Bill Burr, thanks to Ricky Gervais, and thanks to the Fandom Menace for getting this turned around. And I think, again, once Hollywood understands that it's not cool anymore, they're going to leave that shit behind so fast. And I think that's starting. I think that's actually starting. By the end of the year, I think it'll be pretty cringe to be an SJW. And like blue check marks. Oh, we had a great blue check mark moment today with Target Tori. Quartering did a video on that. I don't know what happened after that, but I'm glad she got some justice. That was some bullshit. Thank you, David. I appreciate the Australian $5. Again, I hope you are doing okay down there in Australia, down there in Oz. Rosetta Allen, $5. Christy showed me madly out of context was about the tears of Raylo, who was threatening people's lives. Yes. Raylos are the ones who will harass somebody if you even say, or used to be able to say anything against them. I mean, Raylos they're Twilight fans, they're furries. I mean, there's always that segment of fandom. It's just ignore them. That's all. Let's get back to the article a little bit here. All right. Where did I leave off? Less powerful groups of fans were also especially liked to practice transformative fandom. Oh, what's transformative fandom? Creating new things rather than trying to control the direction of the official Star Wars media. For example, fans disappointing with The Fall of Skywalker are already created fix-it art, charity fundraisers, and memes celebrating The Last Jedi and favorite characters. So this is a cult who likes The Last Jedi because of the politics in it. And when they simply tried to reduce the politics, they called it right wing. Jeremy said it in his video. This is why and I think Hollywood is starting to recognize this. When you're playing hard to these extremists, you're going to realize at some point that they're extremists. They can never be satisfied. They weren't there to see a good movie. They weren't Star Wars fans. There's all degrees of fans. But when you need to get your confirmation bias politically done, or you need validation through a movie of any kind, it's beyond political at that point. It's you need some therapy. You need some help. Again, this is a small segment of people. And this is why the Fandom Menace is so large. Normal, everyday people who just want to go see a movie. And that's a normal, everyday person. Within that normality can be a very weird, and that's fine. Fly your freak flag. I don't care. That's totally cool with me. But just don't try to impose it on everybody else. The vocal Last Jedi fans largely are the access media, blue check marks on Twitter, small number of people. They just want to control the narrative, and they're losing control. And this is how they respond. The Last Jedi and the right-wing media. Right-wing anti-TLJ content was helped along by non-Star Wars media as well. Dismay with The Last Jedi was part of the coverage of right-wing culture grievances in outlets such as The Federalist and the National Review, and by alt-right influencers, including Ben Shapiro. Ben Shapiro is certainly right-wing. Alt-right, Jack Posobiec, I don't know this guy very much. He gets brought up a lot. I don't know. Websites specializing in right-wing popular culture expanded their Star Wars coverage to capture anti-TLJ audiences. These platforms also helped right-wing Star Wars outlets grow a new audience. Do you know why there is this thing called your perceived right-wing media? Washington Post and Bethany. Do you know why they exist? Do you know why alternative forms of media? Do you know why YouTube exists? This YouTube that you call right-wing that's generally centrist. It's because, I'm going to state the obvious here for Bethany because she needs to. It's because you have gone so far. I mean, I can't even call it left. It's gone. I can't even call it progressive. It's fundamentalist. You've started smelling your own farts. I know many in the media. I'm sure Bethany thinks she is a centrist herself. Listen, I have a lot of friends who are on the left. I was at a meeting one day, at an AA meeting. I was talking to my friend who was just liberal as the day is long. And he tried to tell me he was a centrist. And I'm like, well, maybe for San Francisco, but not for the rest of the world. And part of the problem with San Francisco is it's filled. Well, it used to be. It's not so much anymore. It was filled with people who didn't leave the city. It's almost an island. I mean, you can go down south, the peninsula, down to San Jose, but people don't leave. It's 7 square miles, and by 7 square miles. I mean, it's more miles than that, but that's what it is squared. The downtown area of San Francisco, and it's get filled with people who don't leave it. Don't ever leave. They don't get in a car. They don't own a car. They don't go to Oakland. They don't do anything. So yeah, they're going to start. It's so bad. It's such an echo chamber here. And listen, if you're a Democrat, you're right wing here practically. I say here, I'm not there right now. I'm in North County, San Diego. It's pretty chill here, actually, where I'm at right now. Bullying the detractors. There is no comparable left-wing media ecosystem where Rise of Skywalker feeling can thrive and be monetized to the same extent. Do you know why, Bethany? Do you know why? Because you own the media. For one, I'm anti Rise of Skywalker. I'm very anti Fall of Skywalker. So she's really trying here. I give her an A for effort. This is ridiculous, though. Most of us hate the Fall of Skywalker. I don't know. I don't read the National Review or anything. Maybe they liked it, but I would say it's more of you guys that like the Fall of Skywalker than us. So I don't know where you're getting this from, Bethany. Last Jedi Backlash included extensive online trolling of the Last Jedi defenders. By contrast, since the Fall of Skywalker, the major trolling incidents have targeted fans who were disappointed by the film. A Fandom Menace account manufactured a hoax claiming Reylos were sending death threats to the Fall of Skywalker director. A Reylo is a fan of the controversial romance between the Fall of Skywalker protagonist Rey and Ben Solo. Protagonist? Ben Solo's not a protagonist. Ben Solo's not a protagonist. Maybe the very end, but he was an antagonist, Bethany. BuzzFeed credulously reported the claim. They credulously reported the claim. I'm going to this link. BuzzFeed guy. Oh. Oh my God. I read this on Friday Night Tights. So and maybe somebody did. Maybe somebody made up an account for who knows? Who knows what side? If somebody, unless you know who made up the account, it could be somebody from the other side, or it could be somebody it could be a real life troll. And the world needs trolls. We do need a laugh once in a while. Just to show you guys, it's the article I read on Friday Night Tights a while back, and it's another humdinger. Oh, where'd it go? Oh, here we go. Oh, they changed the headline. So I don't know if you guys recognize this one. This was about Release the JJ Cut. But that's credulously reporting. Nice. Oh my God. I mean, I almost feel like I feel like I'm picking on, I could be crass, but I won't. I just feel like I'm picking on somebody younger. How's that? I mean, I just came off a 12-hour drive. It was 12 hours. It was long. There was fog in the Central Valley, so it was a long fucking drive. Usually it's like 8. It was 12. But this is almost too much. All right, where did the old link go? There we go. Okay. Another troll used a temporary account, a sock puppet account, to provoke one of the Fall of Skywalker stars, Jonathan Boyega, into a social media confrontation. Boyega made a series of attention-grabbing posts, a sexually explicit joke, the Fall of Skywalker spoilers, a swipe at Reylo, and a video of himself fighting internet detractors. Hail Jonathan Boyega. The troll succeeded in creating negative coverage of people disappointed with the Fall of Skywalker. I found 31 headlines on Google News about Boyega's fight with fans. The fact that, and I don't doubt she found 31 headlines, the fact that it made 31 headlines, that's your problem. There's 31 outlets out there that felt like talking about this would generate clicks. 15 of them congratulating him for taking on the film's critics. So half, okay. The incident also provoked a wave of retaliation. A study of almost 50,000 tweets related to tweets. So why are you, Bethany, why are you including YouTube in this then? They are two completely different platforms that, listen, if they were connected in any way, I would have a lot more followers. I've got 212,000 subs on this channel. I got 14,000 on Twitter. Now, I'm kind of lame on Twitter. I understand that, but I don't interact very much. And the incident also provoked a wave of retaliation. 50,000 tweets, probably from, 50,000 tweets from 10 people. That matters to the future of Star Wars, even though neither Boyega nor Reylo is likely to be in future films. Thank God. When I reviewed the tweets from the study, I observed the word Reylo has a de facto secondary usage as a derogatory label for a female fan. Where did you get that information, Bethany? Did you get it from a Medium article that just came out? It's almost like they coordinate or rip each other off. Probably rip each other off. The Fandom Menace already uses Reylo as a generic epitaph. No, the Reylos exist. It's a fetish, okay? If you are, and this started with Star Trek. It goes way back, and they mention it in that article. So this grandma really was obsessed with Kirk and Spock getting it on. That's a fetish, okay? There are women out there who really like to see men get it on, just like, Howard Stern, guys like to see women get it on. Same thing with women. That's all it is. You apply that to a fictional character, you have a sub-fetish of another fetish. It's not a movement. It's not a fandom. It's a fetish, just like furries. Fetish. Nothing wrong with that. You do you. I don't care. Not a fandom. It's a fetish. Even people in the Lucasfilm orbit slip into complaining about Reylos because it doesn't belong in Star Wars. Again, you can have it. You can do it. But really do it off in your own corner and try to be as quiet as possible. Because if you're an adult and you're proud of that stuff, again, that is the byproduct of a very affluent, bored society. Dislike for Reylo has become an all-purpose argument against women's participation in fandom. Says who? Okay, for one, not all women are Reylos. So there's no difference between men and women, according to Hollywood, except when we're marketing. And we have to put romance in things because women like romance. Why? Because some marketing research said that. Do all women like, or maybe some women like to see badass action like we do, and maybe some dudes like romance. This is such broad generalizing bullshit. Again, this is what happens when you do your research on Twitter. The kind of trolling is not motivated by affection for the Fall of Skywalker. However, it will probably quiet many critics of the film. The backlash ends. Outrage against the latest Star Wars has not matched the campaign against The Last Jedi. Given the middling success of The Fall of Skywalker, it is possible that most viewers preferred The Last Jedi. I'm sorry. I didn't know I had that many cringe muscles. It is possible that most viewers preferred The Last Jedi. Possible? No, that's impossible. That's impossible. And this is kind of what's wrong with fandom. Again, all are welcome. Anybody is welcome in fandom. But here's the problem. I always equate it to a relationship. You get a new partner. You decide to live together. This partner decides to move in your place. You have to make concessions. You have to give up half of your place to this partner. They get half the space. You have to, move some stuff into the garage, but the other half of the space should be yours, right? But this is like the partner moving into your house and telling you got to put all your shit in the garage or in storage, kind of like what my first wife did. And it just doesn't work like that. That's not egalitarian. That's not equal. And we have idiots like Bethany commenting on fandom when they know nothing about it. The Reylos are nothing. The Reylos are fun for some people to clown. I personally never talk about them. They're insignificant to me. They are nothing. It doesn't matter. I don't care if there's Reylos. They can exist. Again, I'm not on Twitter, so I don't see them. So they don't bother me. If they bother some people, great. And people are free to talk shit, especially if you put yourself out there. If you are spending time making art and putting it on the internet for the world to see, and you're over the age of 18, you're going to get clowned. And maybe you should. And honestly, it'll probably help you someday. But you're just going to get clowned. You can choose not to listen to it. You could choose not to post your art publicly, or post your art publicly and don't read the comments. It's that simple. Or, you know what? Read the comments and don't get your little fifis hurt, because they're just comments. They can't really do anything to you. You allow that to happen to you. Nobody has that power over you, ever. You allow it to happen. The Fall of Skywalker is perceived as a film that slightly less powerful fans. The Rise of Skywalker is perceived as a film that slighted less powerful fans in an effort to please conservative fans. That may be enough to hold the backlash in check. Don't miss anything. Sign up to get TMC's smart and analysis in your inbox 3 days a week. Bethany Lakina. Oh, I'm going to your Twitter, Bethany. I'm going to your Twitter. Yep. I won't show her publicly, but associate professor at the University of Rochester. So, lifetime student. I'm not surprised. 585 followers. I'm not following anybody that follows her. I'm not surprised. I'm not going to follow her. Analysis. The latest Star Wars film satisfies the right wing. She linked to some research, and her links were to other articles. They weren't to any real research. Professor. You're an ass professor, though. So you're not a real professor. I'm sorry, associate professor. My apologies. My apologies. I mean, what do I know? I was kicked out of 3 high schools. Kicked out of 3 high schools. All right, let's go back to you. That was ridiculous. I'll keep the article up because, I'm just blown out in the lights all blown out, and I'm in a hotel room. Obviously, I'm Tim Pool style. Tim Pool style. Still demonetized. Son of a bitch. Right. Rosetta Allen, again, thank you. You're wonderful. Christy showed me again. Oh, I already read that one. Thank you, Rosetta. Some nobody. You can even have political shows, but they need to offer. They need to be off in a corner, not injected into already popular shows. Do what you want, just not my shows for $5. Exactly. Hollywood's full of shit. The BBC's full of shit. Why do you think they are taking established properties and filling them full of diversity and female leads? Because they have no faith in diversity and female leads. If they did, Fox did. I think Fox, when you have a show like Power, I mean, that's what I'm talking about. You take a show like Power, you have an original idea, you put it on television, you give it all kinds of backing, you give it good writers. I've never watched it. I don't know, but it's a popular show. That's how you do it, though. That's exactly how you do it. You don't take Star Wars or Doctor Who and change the leads and call that moving anything forward. That's not progressive. That's not moving anything forward. It's, in fact, sexist. Doctor Who is the best example of that. In trying to virtue signal, they just were sexist. Where did the female doctor receive all of her power? From all of her male predecessors. Every bit of it. So you know how they make up for that? They do this in Star Trek too. So Michael Burnham can be better than Captain Kirk and Spock. They go and fuck around in the past and change things to make her preeminent in Spock's life. There was a New York Times article about Picard. That is going to be a video of mine on Tuesday as well. Again, sorry, I'm going to be late with all this stuff, but I don't want to make videos on the road. I have to make them in my studio, and they've got to be edited right. So I don't worry too much about being first with an article anymore. I have my own takes, and if people like them, they like them. If they don't, they don't. Oh, did you guys see? I was in Critical Drinkers video today. That was an honor. So I'd like to publicly thank Critical Drinker for having me in his video. I love that guy. He's a top tier YouTuber. He's right up there with Mahler and Rags. I mean, really, really good YouTuber. So if you have not checked out the Critical Drinker, please do. Highly recommend him. He is a great, great YouTuber. I want to show you a picture. This will tell everything you need to know about diversity and Hollywood's bullshit. Okay. So this is blah, blah, blah. Again, I'm going to do a whole video on this. This is for you Star Wars fans. It's only lately I've been talking about Star Wars a lot. I rarely talked about it. After I saw The Last Jedi, I was done. I didn't want to talk about it. It was dead to me. I stopped being a fan. I gave up all my shit. So when I do these videos, I don't know if you noticed or not, I'm not a fan. I'm not coming at it from a fan. I am very biased. I'm telling you right now, I am biased because they pissed me off and I don't like it anymore. But I was a fan for decades. So I feel like I could talk about it, chronicle its demise, and tell you how it made me feel and my opinion on the subject. And the fascinating part to me was the access media and the corporations' hatred of the fandom. I don't like it, but it's fascinating that things turn this way. And it's all over politics. It is. And ego. And I promise you, as far as Star Wars video is concerned, as far as like plot leaks and spoilers, not make it anymore. I'm done. I don't care. It's a story I could give two shits about. I would rather cover Better Call Saul. It's a fuck story. They can't fix it. The Mandalorian, not going to cover season 2. because it's going to start covering Rise of Skywalker stuff and explaining Palpatine. Don't care. It's not a world I care about anymore. There's plenty of other things to cover. But if like Kathleen Kennedy gets fired or some article like this comes out, then I'm going to make a video. But Star Trek and Doctor Who, I've been covering a lot more. I've been covering on my channel for a long, long time. And, even before I had my channel, I've been talking, I talk in my comic store, talk with my friends for years and years and years. The only difference now is there's a microphone in front of me. My opinion, my politics have not changed at all. But what has changed is nerddom got popular and it got taken over by a bunch of posers. We knew this was going to happen. I knew it was going to happen when Disney bought Marvel and when Disney bought Star Wars. I'm like, we worked better as a niche. We did. And when we stopped being a niche, we stopped working. And they put a huge, and it brought in a bunch of, we like new fans, but we got an influx of normies and posers who they cater to, and then they're going to leave. The thing is, they just assume we're going to be there when they leave. We're not. We're going to go move on to other things. So they start talking up Star Trek here, and they talk about diversity. They talk about how Star Trek Discovery is the most diverse Star Trek ever, which is not the case at all. The only thing it did different is it had a couple of dudes making out. But there was a lesbian kiss in Star Trek 20 years ago. They haven't been breaking any ground, but I just wanted to show you this picture right here because I am just blinded by the diversity of this picture. These are the people in control of Star Trek. Well, most of them. The one on the right is Michael Chabon. He left the show. So earlier in 2019, both Doomcock and I reported that Alex Kurtzman was removed from creative control over Star Trek Picard. We were called fake news. He came out and did a big podcast that he was still in charge. Now, I never stated that he was fired. I said it could be. I said these are rumors, but I did report he was creatively removed from Star Trek Picard. Well, after he came out with this big podcast saying he's in charge, they announced Michael Chabon as the showrunner of Star Trek Picard. This was about a third of the way through the production. So they either didn't have a showrunner or they removed Alex Kurtzman. Now, Star Trek Discovery had already gone through a couple of showrunners. Does this sound familiar, Star Wars fans? Alex Kurtzman and Kathleen Kennedy have very similar regimes. So Michael Chabon is now gone from Star Trek Picard. Alex Kurtzman is back in charge. But Heather, right there, is that Heather Caden is in charge of Star Trek Discovery now. Alex Kurtzman is not running Star Trek Discovery. Heather Caden is. Alex Kurtzman's going off to run Clarice. Now, he still runs Secret Hideout, so he'll have an executive producer, but creatively, he is being removed from the series. Now, on his right, our left, is Akiva Goldsman. Again, these are all very, I'm blinded by the diversity here. So Akiva Goldsman is best known for ruining the Transformers franchise so bad it doesn't work in China anymore. He is responsible for that. Alex Kurtzman directed The Mummy. Michael Chabon hasn't done shit. And Heather Caden, what has she done? Heather Caden, besides, just being a woman. Heather Caden, she has actually produced stuff, but I think it's just like Heather Caden. Hang on. Like CW stuff. Heather Caden, IMDb. Heather Caden. She has worked on Salvation, okay, Scorpion, Sleepy Hollow with Alex Kurtzman, Matador, and that's it. And Star Trek. She's been a producer. She's not much of a writer or a creative. again, blinded by the diversity in this. Nobody has Star Trek experience, but they really, really wanted to make a point to tell you that Star Trek Picard is going to be about Brexit and Trump's America, automatically alienating half your fan base. Now, they seem a little behind on the times. Well, again, there are. You look at Akiva Goldsman, whose name hasn't really been brought up a lot lately, but he is heavily involved with Picard. He helped put nipples on the bat suit. He's the one who wrote the episode with Sonar in Space in Star Trek Discovery, the famous Sonar in Space that Doomcock did discover. So hail Doomcock. And the only thing, I don't know how you could fit this much pretentiousness in one picture. I mean, look at this. For one, yeah, I realize I'm bearded with big, glasses. All right, I get you. I hear you. Oh, dude. Did I go in too much there? I'm sorry. But I was doing it before these assholes, and my shit's not ironic. All right. I'm actually blind. And I don't know. I have a beard to break the monotony of my face. See, they have beards to try to show that they're masculine. And they're not, especially with his little rolled up pants and the way he crosses his legs. Look at Alex Kurtzman man spreading right there. No. Yeah. So I'm not a fan of these people at all. I don't like what they've done to Star Trek, but I'll say this. If Star Trek Picard is good, I'll admit it. I have no problem admitting it. Even if their names are attached. If it comes out and it's good, that's all I care about. I think the chances of that happening are like impossible, like fucking impossible. Come on, let's be real. But if they do, I'll tell you. So we've had this come out. Now, this is the New York Times. This is basically a puff piece for Star Trek. I didn't know when the New York Times started doing this, but they're doing that as well. And there's, I thought it'd be quiet this weekend. I really did. I really fucking did. All right. Let's go to Greg Kirby. Welcome to the proto-molecule level. Thank you. Thank you. So they're trying to invade our popular shows and fill it with politics because A, they do want to make a political point. B, they think it's the trendy thing to do. And that is why I tell you Hollywood is where trends go to die. They are so fucking far behind and they're not going to be able to turn things around. By the time Star Trek Discovery Season 3 comes out, it will, again, fart in the wind is the best way I can explain it. It'll stink a little bit, but it goes away. Best beard in the business. Keep it going. Wow. F. Frank, thank you very much for $5. I put oil in today. I forgot what oil I use, though. I really would love, I'm not big on sponsors, but I would take a men's grooming product sponsor. I would do that. But otherwise, I'm not big on sponsors. I don't want to be too greedy, I guess. I'm doing okay. Now, if things get tight, maybe. I'm not going to put it out of the realm of possibility. But Ragnar, 18 for $5. Sometimes I feel like a sugar glider trapped inside a fishbowl full of gummy bears. Wow. Sometimes I never felt like that, but I can understand how you feel. I've dropped acid too. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Sadukar, 7th Legion for £5. Doctor Who equals male. Lord of the Rings equals English. Bond equals male. Blake 7 equals brilliance. I DM'd you on Twitter. Guess you are busy. Happy travels, beard. Soon to be cold. Are you going to be cold? Why are you going to be cold? I hope not. Yeah, I'll check on the DMs. I was driving all day today, so I don't check my DMs when I'm driving. And I was in dense fog for 3 of it. In the Central Valley in California in the winter, it gets, and I'm not talking about just normal fog. I'm talking you can't see 5 feet in front of you, and you basically can't drive. You got to wait until it clears. Catherine Greer, hi, for $5. Saw vid that the Dark Tower is canceled. Yes. Worry for the Lord of the Rings and Wheel of Time. Worry about the Orville. Ugh, what the heck with the Expanse? So So I think we're starting to see casualties of the streaming wars. The Game of Thrones prequels were not picked up. The Dark Tower was not picked up. They canceled Watchmen. So either it wasn't successful or it was too expensive. And I'm thinking it wasn't successful. But we're starting to see bigger shows, genre shows get canceled. And like I said, the streaming wars will be over before you know it. I give it a year. The Target article triggered me. What a jerk. Yes, the guy with the toothbrush. I don't know how you publicly make yourself an asshole like that. I mean, life must be that bad. It's like I'm willing to make myself look like the biggest asshole in the world just to get attention. That's worse than that. What's his name? Who's the guy? Osimian or Osam? I don't know. The guy who screams and cries used to be in the Air Force. Yeah, that YouTuber who's going crazy. Yeah, it's worse than that. Polite small government. Yeah, I can't read that. Nobody. Come on. I can't read that. I'm sorry. For $2, I will just say polite small government. No. There's certain things I can't say on YouTube, my friend. If I wish I could give you a refund, but no, we're Satan, buddy. We're Satan. That's the way they see it. The Rookie Critic for $5. Hail, buddy. How was the gas station Slurpee? I didn't have a gas station Slurpee. Now I want one. Now I want to go get one. There's a 7-Eleven right down there. Echo Base's video was top-notch quality. Very impressed. The article sounds like clones from 2 years ago. That's what most of the articles have sounded like, Rook, except for the weird calling the fall of Skywalker a right-wing film. That's a narrative they're going to try to push. Once I saw it, and once I saw them calling it fan service, I knew that was the narrative that they were going to push. That Disney basically bent the knee to us, and they were. I think Disney was trying to satisfy fans. I think Disney is trying to turn the page, but the access media who've been playing good little soldiers lately are going to see anything that goes towards us, the fans, as bending the knee to the right wing. So this has strictly become media versus fans now. That's what this is media versus fans. So it's time for us to stop going there. Like even now, I probably should have screen captured that. What I'm going to start doing is, I mostly do it. I archive. I don't link these articles. There's no law that says I have to. And I'm going to stop telling you where they're from. Because it doesn't really matter. They're all the fucking same. If you see an article that says Fandom Menace alt-right, you can guess it's going to be BuzzFeed, fucking Vox. You know, the less attention we give them, the better. They're not getting much anyway. But even stuff I used to like CBR. I used to like CBR. I used to like Bleeding Cool. I can't stand these sites now. And I end up just going to Bounding into Comics, Bleeding Fool, or watching YouTubers. But unfortunately, I have to research this stuff. But I try not to give it too much attention. I try to keep it on the message because it really doesn't matter where it comes from. There's no difference. They're such an echo chamber now. And you know what? If they just played the middle, it would be better. If the access media would just stop being so heavily biased, like once in a while, take a break from your bias, and you might find yourself getting more clicks. Norwegian Kryptonian for 22 Norwegian krona. Have you seen David Gilmour live in Pompeii? I've seen Pink Floyd live in Pompeii. I haven't seen David Gilmour. Is that out? Did he return there? That's kind of awesome. But I love Pink Floyd live at Pompeii. Uma Guma. Great album. According to Christie for $2, the Washington Post is seriously crediting BuzzFeed. Yes, they seriously credited BuzzFeed as a reliable source. Oh my God. Some nobody for $2. How many activist bots are on Twitter, by the way? That's a good question. A lot. Thousands, hundreds of thousands. This woman hates freaking Raylo. That is so sexist, says Rosetta Allen. It is, Rosetta. It is sexist. Hi from Escondido. Do you have King Solomon's number? Jeffrey Wolf. Yes, as a matter of fact, I do. So you're in Escondido. I'm not far from you. I'm actually on Twin Oaks Valley Road right now. So you know where I am. Twin Oaks Valley Road. Robert Meza for $2. Furries like Last Jedi. LOL. Yes. And cats. They like cats. They're the only ones who did. Robert. Cesario JPN. The fact these sites can reference unreliable sources, then get cited on Wikipedia is mad. I would get banned from Wikipedia if I referred the tweets. What the hell? Yeah, fuck Wikipedia. They're just doing themselves in. That's all. I mean, honestly, keep it up. Keep it up. I know that's an awesome looking background there, right? It's a nice room. I forgot my mic, so I bought like old school. This reminds me of my old days of podcasting. So now I have 2 mics, which means the big changes are coming for Friday Night Tights. I won't blab that yet. It's going to look a lot nicer. StreamYard, they're okay, but I don't like the connection very much. I want it to look a little nicer. But don't worry, I'm not going to get like all highly produced like campy or something like that. Shit's never going to happen. I lost you guys. Where'd you go? Okay. Daniel James for Australian $7.99. Keep up the great work, Gary. Just getting your stream. Sorry. Oh, it's okay. It's okay. It's late. It's oh shit. It's 2 a.m. I got to wrap this shit up. I got to go to bed. I got to meet my mom in the morning. And I have to do a super chat square up for Friday, so I haven't forgot about that. I will do that probably on Tuesday. Some nobody for $2. Yours aren't cosmetic, right? Yeah, I thought so. No, they're not. They are not. My glasses are here to show you. Watch my eyes. There you go. These are Coke bottles. I have the worst astigmatism ever. And I cannot legally drive a car without my glasses on. So about Picard, I've got a bad feeling about this. It says Carnax. Is it Caranx? Caranx. Sorry, for Canadian $2. Tell me in the chat how you pronounce that. See, it's C-A-R, Caranx, A-N-N-X. Rosetta Allen for $2. Good night, Gary, but thank you for the friendly voice. Oh, you're welcome. Thank you. Luz Theron for $9.99. Long-time follower, first-time caller. Don't burn out. We need to keep the torch burning for the true fans. I won't. I'll get some sleep. Hit that thumbs up, says none of your business, for $2. Robert Meza says, where do you see Lord of the Rings in the next couple of years? I see one season that's going to be 6 episodes, and I don't think it's going to be well received. I just don't think the people behind it are experienced enough. I could be wrong, but it's going to be – Robert, you saw The Hobbit, right? So The Hobbit did have a little bit of wokeness in it. I like The Hobbit, but it's going to be more like The Hobbit than Lord of the Rings. I don't know how they're going to make it now, because Lord of the Rings it's not a simple story, by the way. It's one of the greatest stories ever written. It broke a lot of tropes of the time, but it is good versus evil. It's not super gray. It does get into that with some of the lore. There's a lot of tragedy. There's a lot of loss, and they could do that. But the thing is, J.K. Rowling, when she had one of her moments of clarity, besides being an insane person, said something great about prequels. She says, I don't like prequels, even though she went out and did one, which is funny. But if you go back and look up her quote, she said, they're inherently tragedies, and they're not that hopeful. That's why prequels will never be as good as the original. not just because they're prequels. It's because we know the ending, and it generally isn't good. It precedes the real win later. Will the Orville be canned when Seth goes to NBC? Asks Bryce Lighton for $1.99. Maybe. I don't think so, though, because I think Seth owns it outright. I'll be honest with you. Even if they tell me, they'll make me sign an NDA to where I can't tell you guys. So I'd rather just not know at that point. I mean, if I can't blab to you guys, like, I don't like that whole, like, I know something you don't know. I don't give a shit about that. But I'm going to go, hopefully, listen, I just want to have lunch with one of my friends who is one of the producers on the Orville. I just want to have lunch with him, hang out with him. And if we talk about it, we talk about it. Cool. If we don't, we don't. But my guess was, yes, it would get canceled. But last night I was reminded that Family Guy is owned by Seth. So, and I don't think he would abandon Orville. I know how much he loves it. But the Orville will probably be a passion project that we get every couple of years. And if I can do anything, and I'm planning on making a video of, like, don't abandon the Orville, because it does have a great fandom. And those things don't just happen overnight. They're very hard to earn. And quite frankly, the Orville fandom is bigger than the Expanse fandom. I wish the Expanse fandom was bigger, but the Expanse did something stupid. They released all at once. And right now, I'm fucking pissed at them because of this article. I don't know if I want to back the Expanse anymore. I know Jeff Bezos didn't write it, but you know what, dude? You own that. You own that shit, and that shit isn't fucking helping anything. That just makes the divide even wider. And the only thing, again, I'll use my I statements. The reason I'm in the Fandom Menace, the reason I'm doing this shit is because I want the divisiveness to stop. I don't want to get political. There is no political tweets on my fucking feed. But look at everybody who complains. People who complain about me specifically, people who call me racist and misogynist, their feeds are fucking filled with political tweets. Fucking filled with it. They have no idea what my politics are. I also consider the source on that one. SpaceX explosion in 2 hours. Oh, I hope there's not an explosion. P-Bothulu for Australian $2. I know some meteors fell out of the sky. Mr. MBB333 has a couple of very interesting videos you should go check out. I gotta hurry through. Daniel for $5. Thanks for being one of the hardest working guys on YouTube. It's been a difficult evening, and it's comforting to find you still on at 4 a.m. Why? Thank you. I'm sorry it's been a difficult evening, Daniel. Hope things get better, my friend. I'll be back on the Inquisition later tonight. And believe me, we will go over this. Some nobody for $2. Of course they think Ben is the devil. Idiots. And that's right. Thank you, some nobody. Thank you. I see what you did there for $2. Neil, $1.99. Keep sticking it to the man, Gary. I will. I am punching up tonight. Punching him right in his balls. Mexican Iron Man for $19.99 for gas money. And thanks. And thanks for being a great mentor to Echo Base Boys and Mexican Iron Man. We look up to you and thank you for all you do for the fandom. Well, you're welcome. I'm just a fan. I mean, I really appreciate all the kind words, but I am just a fan. That's all I am. Thank you. Pink Floyd are faker than Kid Rock, says Lucian for $2. Are they? I mean, are they faker than Kid Rock? Is Kid Rock fake? Elaborate, Lucian. I mean, I'll debate you on this, and I respect your opinion, and thank you for the $2. But Pink Floyd are not fake. You could not like them, but they're simply one of the greatest bands of all time. I love the Syd Barrett stuff. Big Roger Waters fan. I am a big fan of the album Animals, personally. I like Animals. Love the Wall. Wish You Were Here is one of the greatest songs ever written. And yeah. I've got a song in my head now. Climbing. You pick the hill, I'll choose the time, and I'll climb that hill in my own way. Just wait a while for the right day. I ship money, Ray, and me. Do, re, mi. Mad vibe. That's funny. So I am also a big fan of metal. Okay. Pink Floyd Metal. Such a fucking great album. Unsung album. So Fearless is one of my favorite songs. Saint-Tropez is funny as hell, but Fearless, listen to that song if you haven't heard it. I know it gets played once in a while. It's not one of their more well-known albums, but metal is fucking amazing. And so Fearless, when I was at one of my rehabs, one of the 5 rehabs, you get to play a song before you leave. And I played Fearless. That was the song I played for. I went back out and relapsed, but it was a good moment. It was a good moment. It's also got echoes too. All right. We're going to call it a night. But Lucien, I'd love to debate Pink Floyd with you. I don't think they're fake. Kid Rock, I don't know. I liked a couple of Kid Rock songs. Is that bad of me that I liked a couple of Kid Rock songs? I don't hate Kid Rock. I mean, I don't think he's a musical genius or anything like that, but Pink Floyd are, as far as like musicianship, David Gilmour is a great guitar player, but it's not because he's technically great. I mean, he is technically better than most people on the planet, but he's like not like Steve Vai. But what David Gilmour does is he can take all of his emotion and put it in an instrument and then express it with an instrument. So that's not he does something that Steve Vai, all these technical, like Eddie Van Halen, can't do. If David Gilmour is feeling despair, he can communicate it through his guitar perfectly to where you feel his despair. And so there's different types of musicians. So the Beatles, for the most part, weren't very good musicians. Greatest songwriters probably ever. And when you put them together, and it doesn't there's technical musicianship, and then there's musicianship, the art of music. I'm getting tired. But it's expressing your feeling through music. I was way more into that than technical stuff. I mean, I love to listen to Rush, and I love to listen to, like Rush and the Police could do both. I could talk your ear off on music. I grew up in record stores too. Not just comic shops, record stores. But I like raw emotion. That's why I'm a punk rock fan, because there's no good musicianship in punk rock for the most part. But there's a lot of emotion, a lot of raw emotion. I like that. That's my favorite part. What's up, Lethal? You know what's fake? Mia Khalifa. Mia Khalifa. She is so trash. She is. You know what's fake? Fake. What's fake? I don't know any modern music, Lethal. What's fake? Fucking everything. Everything that's out right now is fake. All the pop music, all that shit is fake. It's terrible. There's no musicianship anymore. But Mia Khalifa. I don't even know who that is, Lethal. I'm old. And it's good to see you, Lethal. How are you, my friend? Did you see the picture that was posted in the Fandom Menace group of you buried in the sand and Drunk's head is over your privates? It was pretty funny. I saw it right before I came on. I was laughing my ass off. Sid Nicholson for $2. What's the 411 on the Expanse article? Oh, the Expanse is Jeff Bezos runs Amazon. Jeff Bezos owns Amazon and the Washington Post. And I have been backing Sid at the Expanse for years now. And I was part of the Save the Expanse. As a matter of fact, I'm one of the people who helped kick it off. Now, that got forgotten, and that's fine. I don't care because bigger people took it on, and that's great. I just wanted the show to get, but I was the first one to go on YouTube and tell everybody that it's been canceled and we need to fucking do something. And then people got the ball rolling and other people did stuff. But I've been a strong backer of this show. And then he allows his outlet, his for-profit outlet, to write an article taking shots at fans, individual fans, and small businesses like Geeks and Gamers, which is a small business. So you're going after, or entrepreneurs, people who crowdfunded a comic or somebody who's trying to write a book. You're trying to paint them as evil right wing. And you know what? I mean, again, yeah, there's right wing people in the Fandom Menace, and they're fucking welcome here. You're not the devil, in other words. So I am reconsidering my backing of the Expanse. I will have to sleep on that. I'll let you guys know in the Inquisition. Heart Sauce, welcome to the Jaloja level. Welcome. I appreciate it. Norwegian Kryptonian for 55 Norwegian krona. Overhead, the albatross hangs motionless upon the air. David Gilmour played Pompey in 2016. First show there was an audience. First show there with an audience in 2,000 years. I was there. Oh, that's awesome. That is awesome. I saw the fake Pink Floyd tour in 94 without Roger Waters. It was still great, but it wasn't real. Let's be real. It wasn't real. Maticus Finch, $18.25. Wow, what a surprise. It's 4 a.m. and I can't sleep. I get on YouTube and you're live streaming. Who needs cartoons? Well, I mean, you can always watch The Mandalorian. Just kidding. All right, guys. If I missed a super chat, I'm sorry. I'm doing Heart Sauce. Welcome to the Joel Edge level. I'm doing a super chat square up on Tuesday. I've got 2 videos coming out next week when I get back home. The Inquisition will be on time tomorrow. That's no problem. There will be no Nerdrotic Nooner on Monday because I'm doing something kind of cool. So thanks for watching. It's very late. And we had I think we had 1,700 people watching this late. That's awesome. I appreciate all the super chats, all the new memberships. I appreciate you just being here. If you like, subscribe. If you don't like it, that's fine. You don't have to subscribe. I am having the time of my life. Lucian, thumbs up to you. Thumbs up to you. You know what? Another thing, all opinions are respected here. If you like The Rise of Skywalker, that's great. I have 0 problems with you. None. As long as you don't have a problem with me not liking the show. I will never shame somebody for liking something, except for maybe Star Trek Discovery. Just a little bit. And I think because The Expanse is one of my favorite shows, and this is for coffee when you need to be awake 2 a.m. here. Thank you, Lady Miss, for $10. Hey, The Expanse is my favorite show. It would suck. But I see this shit, I get fucking pissed. I'm same age as you, grown up with the Floods. Awesome band. Awesome band. Sleep well. Good night. And remember, not all who wander are lost.